Today, we're diving deep into the most shocking scandal of Olympus, revealing how Hephaestus exposed the betrayal of Ares and Aphrodite with a trap so ingenious that it changed the destinies of the gods. Imagine being in Hephaestus' shoes, betrayed and seeking justice. How would you react? Stay with us until the end to uncover the dark secrets and surprising consequences of this epic revenge. The plot of the most brutal revenge in Greek mythology doesn't begin with a simple outburst of anger, but rather with a complex web of emotions intertwined at the core of Hephaestus, the god of fire and metalworking. While other gods flaunted their beauty and power, Hephaestus bore the marks of a painful rejection since his birth, cast from Olympus by his own mother, Hera, for not meeting the standards of divine perfection. This initial trauma sowed in him a mixture of resentment and an indomitable need to prove his worth, not only as an unmatched craftsman but also as an entity worthy of respect and fear in the Olympian pantheon. His inventions and works of craftsmanship, admired by gods and mortals alike, were the external manifestation of his internal turmoil, an attempt to reconcile the desire for acceptance with the reality of his isolation. However, the true test of his emotional and intellectual acumen emerged when he discovered his wife Aphrodite's infidelity with Ares, the god of war. This wasn't just a blow to his heart but a direct attack on his dignity, something he couldn't let go unanswered. Conceiving a plan that reflected both his technical mastery and his psychological cunning, Hephaestus decided to expose the affair in a spectacular way. He built an invisible and indestructible net that would capture the lovers in the height of their betrayal, a trap that would not only serve as irrefutable proof of their disloyalty but also as a spectacle of public humiliation. Hephaestus' trap was not only physical but deeply symbolic, representing the webs of lies and deceit that Aphrodite and Ares had woven around themselves. When the lovers were finally caught, Hephaestus didn't confront them in secret. Instead, he summoned the other gods to witness the scene, ensuring that the scandal not only punished the traitors but also resonated throughout Olympus as a testimony to his power and intelligence. The humiliation of Aphrodite and Ares was not just a personal retaliation. It was a public statement that even a disfigured and often underestimated god could manipulate the threads of fate and reputation in his favor. This revenge, therefore, transcended the boundaries of a simple marital reprisal. It was the reaffirmation of Hephaestus as a god not only capable of rivaling the cunning of Athena or the strength of Zeus, but as a being who should not be underestimated in his emotional and strategic capabilities. The episode redefined power dynamics in Olympus, showing that even the gods, with all their passions and flaws, are not immune to the consequences of their actions, drawn by the skillful hands of one whom many considered the least likely to strike back. Imagine Mount Olympus not only as a celestial abode but as a political battlefield, where every intrigue and alliance shaped the balance of power among the gods. The story I bring today reveals how a scandal not only shocked the gods but also reconfigured the ethereal power structures. In this scenario of gods and goddesses, where personal relationships often intertwine with state matters, a particular event would set off a series of events whose consequences would echo for millennia. In this intricate fabric of divine relationships, infidelity was not merely an act of personal betrayal but a gesture with deep political implications. When Hephaestus discovered Aphrodite, his wife, in a secret liaison with Ares, the god of war, the scandal that ensued was more than a family drama, it was a catalyst for political realignments. Hephaestus, known for his craftsmanship and generally calm temperament, found himself at the center of a plot that would challenge his position and power on Olympus. Hephaestus' reaction was not only fueled by a broken heart but also by astute political strategy. By publicly exposing the betrayal of Aphrodite and Ares, he not only sought personal revenge but also sought to assert his authority and influence among the other gods. This act of exposure was not simply the outpouring of a betrayed husband but a calculated demonstration of power. It called into question pre-existing alliances and forced other gods to reassess their own connections and loyalties. The consequences of this scandal reverberated throughout the political structure of Olympus. Gods previously neutral or aloof to power struggles found themselves compelled to take sides, redefining the celestial political landscape. Those who supported Hephaestus saw it as an opportunity to align with a god who, though less imposing than Zeus or Poseidon in terms of raw power, demonstrated unparalleled ability in manipulating situations to his advantage through intelligence and technical mastery. This episode teaches us that in Olympus, much like in human politics, alliances are both fluid and crucial, and that a single event can alter the fate of all. The scandal between Aphrodite and Ares was not merely a moment of gossip among deities. It was a turning point that reshaped the political fabric of the godly universe, demonstrating that even the most powerful beings are not immune to the consequences of their actions. Hephaestus' story and his cunning revenge serve as a fascinating reminder of how politics and personal power are deeply intertwined, even in the heights of Mount Olympus. Amidst the rich and complex tapestry of Greek mythology, Aphrodite emerges not only as the goddess of love and beauty but also as a central figure in numerous narratives that reveal the nuances of power and gender relations in ancient society. Often viewed as a symbol of desire and seduction, her presence in myths goes beyond the superficial, challenging traditional perceptions of the female role. Her influence is evident in various stories where she manipulates and orchestrates situations to her advantage, revealing a layer of cunning and power that is often underestimated in more conventional interpretations. Within this context, the story of Aphrodite and the judgment of Paris offers a particularly incisive glimpse into how the ancient Greeks viewed women in positions of influence. Chosen by Paris as the fairest over Hera and Athena, Aphrodite not only wins the golden apple but also uses her victory to orchestrate the events that led to the Trojan War. This story, often interpreted as a mere vanity contest, can also be seen as an example of Aphrodite's ability to negotiate power through diplomacy and persuasion, a facet that highlights her capacity to influence world events significantly. In exploring these stories, it is essential to recognize that Aphrodite, often reduced to her physical aspect, holds influence that extends far beyond her beauty. She manipulates loves and battles, shaping the destinies of gods and mortals alike. Her role in episodes such as maintaining harmony on Olympus and intervening in human relationships showcases a goddess who transcends the traditionally passive role assigned to female figures in mythology. This ability to influence both hearts and realms questions pre-established notions of power and authority. Furthermore, considering Aphrodite's role in protecting lovers and promoting harmony, we perceive an aspect of her divinity that fosters union and peace, contrasting with her reputation as an agent of discord in other narratives. This duality not only enriches her character but also offers a broader metaphor for the role of women in Greek society, capable of both upholding and challenging the established order, depending on the circumstances. In analyzing Aphrodite's representation in Greek mythology, emerges a complex image of a goddess who is both an agent of change and a symbol of certain aesthetic and emotional ideals. Her ability to navigate and manipulate the world around her reflects a power and autonomy that defy simplistic interpretations, and compel us to reconsider the role of women not only in mythology but in the cultural and spiritual formation of ancient Greece. This recognition not only enriches our understanding of mythology but also broadens our perception of gender dynamics in antiquity. In Greek mythology, the saga of Hephaestus, the god of fire and forge, is marked by episodes of challenges and betrayals, but none as dramatic as his revenge against Aphrodite, his wife, and Ares, the god of war. This act of retribution is not merely a tale of jealousy. It questions the complexities of justice and morality in divine relationships. Upon discovering the illicit romance between his wife and Ares, Hephaestus opts not for direct confrontation but for an approach that reveals his cunning and technical skill. He creates an invisible and indestructible net, a clever trap to capture the lovers during their clandestine rendezvous. The discovery of this affair and the subsequent punishment before the eyes of the other gods of Olympus turn the event into a public spectacle. Hephaestus, by exposing Aphrodite and Ares to this visible humiliation, raises questions about the proportionality of his revenge. Was this act a just retribution for the wrongs committed against him, or an excessive punitive measure driven by a desire for shame and degradation? In pondering this question, we are led to reflect on the ethical lines of justice versus revenge in the context of the Greek deities, who often acted in such humanly flawed and emotional ways. The response of the Olympic pantheon and mortals to this scandal is also revealing. While some gods may have seen Hephaestus' reaction as justified, others may have considered his approach overly cruel and a reflection of their own insecurities and flaws. This division of opinions highlights the relative morality of the Greek gods and suggests that even in the divine, there are varied interpretations of justice and retribution. This episode serves as a mirror of the complexities of human relationships, where the line between justice and revenge often becomes blurred. Furthermore, Hephaestus' ingenuity in conceiving his revenge reveals much about his character and abilities. He employs his mastery of the forge and fire not only to create weapons or beautiful artifacts, but as means to execute a meticulously calculated revenge plan. This prompts us to question, to what extent can talent and creativity be driven by negative emotions such as resentment and sadness? Hephaestus, in his pain, turned his art into an instrument of personal justice, blurring the boundaries between creation and destruction. Ultimately, the legacy of this event in the annals of Greek mythology continues to provoke debates and reflections. Hephaestus' revenge, while attesting to his skill and intelligence, also portrays him as a tragic figure, whose response to personal suffering transcends mere retribution and enters the realm of ethics and morality. This incident offers us valuable insight into the interactions among the gods, while also reflecting our own struggles with the concepts of justice and revenge. This ancient tale, filled with passion, betrayal, and retribution, remains relevant, inviting us to examine the nuances of our own ethical decisions in the context of our personal and social relationships. Imagine Olympus as a palace of intrigues and gossip, where news spreads faster than Hermes' flight. The discovery of the affair between Aphrodite and Ares not only shook the hearts involved, but reverberated through every corner of this celestial realm. The consequences of the scandal were as widespread as the clouds surrounding the abode of the gods. Zeus, typically distant in matters of the heart, found himself in a delicate position, forced to balance order and justice among the gods, while Hera, ever vigilant about fidelity, saw in this event an opportunity to reaffirm her power and influence, weaving strategies that would go far beyond the punishment of an unfaithful goddess. In the social fabric of Olympus, the revelation of this affair triggered a series of alliances and enmities previously unimaginable. Lesser gods and nymphs, previously neutral in larger disputes, chose sides, fostering an atmosphere of constant suspicion and accusation. Dionysus, for example, used the scandal to divert attention from his own escapades, while Athena watched silently, calculating how this character flaw of Ares could be used to reinforce her position as the supreme strategist and defender of morality. The political structure of Olympus was equally shaken. The revelation impacted the authority of certain gods over specific territories and peoples on Earth. Ares, once seen as an implacable war god, had his image tarnished, questioning his honor and leadership. This led to a reduction in his cults among mortals, weakening his influence in earthly battles. Aphrodite, despite her indiscretion, manipulated the situation to reaffirm her position as the goddess of love and beauty, becoming more accessible to the pleas of mortals, which paradoxically increased her power among both gods and humans. From the chaos generated by the scandal emerged new norms and laws in Olympus, instituted to prevent future deviations and ensure that the actions of the gods would not threaten the stability of the cosmos again. Zeus established a council composed of various deities tasked with overseeing and judging the conduct of the gods, an attempt to blend justice with diplomacy. This council came to play a crucial role in Olympus' decisions, acting as a balancer of forces among rival factions. Thus, the scandal that could have been just another story of love and betrayal in Olympus turned into an event of structural change, reshaping power dynamics and influencing interactions between gods and mortals. The way each god and goddess reacted and adapted to these new rules revealed much about their personalities and desires, reflecting the complexities of divine relationships and their consequences in the mortal world. Revenge, in this context, proved not only as an act of anger but as a catalyst for significant and lasting changes throughout the mythological universe. The revenge unleashed by Hephaestus against Ares and Aphrodite is one of the most cunning and emblematic stories of Greek mythology, reflecting themes of betrayal, justice, and the complexities of interpersonal relationships. Intrigued by his wife Aphrodite's infidelity, who was having a love affair with the god of war Ares, Hephaestus, the god of fire and forge, conceived a clever plan. He created an invisible and unbreakable net, thin as a spider's web but strong enough to ensnare gods. When Ares and Aphrodite met again in Hephaestus' bed, the trap was sprung, capturing them in the act. This exposure was not merely a personal matter. Hephaestus summoned the other gods to witness the humiliation of Aphrodite and Ares, emphasizing the public nature of judgment and shame in ancient Greek culture. This scene, rich in symbolism, not only punished the adulterers but also served as a stern warning to those who would consider violating marital bonds. Beyond being a tale of revenge, the episode is a rich tapestry of allusions and symbolisms that transcend time. Hephaestus' net symbolizes not only the inescapability of one's actions but also the complexity and interconnection of human relationships. This net can be seen as a technological precursor representing innovation and skill, qualities highly valued both in ancient Greece and modern society. In this context, the story resonates with contemporary themes such as privacy, public exposure, and the consequences of actions in a digital age. In a world where privacy is constantly threatened by technology, Hephaestus' net serves as a reminder that the traps we create, whether literal or metaphorical, can eventually ensnare us too. The myth offers a reflection on the role of technology in our lives and how it can both protect and harm, reaffirming the need to wield such powers with wisdom and ethics. By exploring these layers of meaning, the myth not only provides entertainment but also teaches valuable lessons about the human condition, highlighting the timeless relevance of ancient stories. Hephaestus' ability to manipulate both metals and circumstances reflects our own journey through an era dominated by technology and constant surveillance, making this myth not only a cautionary tale but also a window into better understanding our own lives and choices in the present. This episode reveals much about the character and intelligence of Hephaestus. While other gods might opt for direct and violent retaliation, he chose a path that emphasized his intellectual and technical superiority. In addition to being a master craftsman, Hephaestus demonstrated a profound understanding of human and divine nature, manipulating shame as a weapon as powerful as any sword forged on his anvil.